Live, we are coming at you back from Southern California. That's where we're at, right? You're gonna have to deal with me a minute here. I'm gonna get a couple of things started. Let's go ahead and get the YouTube chats going. Uh-oh. Okay. Got a little bit of a... There we go. A little bit of a bug there. 1 second, folks. And we're gonna configure this guy. Man, it's so good to be home. But at the same time, I am totally exhausted. So, we're probably not going to be on too late tonight, guys. Just a fair warning here. I really just wanted to turn the camera on, do a little bit of painting, and just kind of get everybody caught up. People that are back and hanging out. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. I'm going to go ahead and share the Twitch stream. Hey, what's up? Got him? I'm going to share this on my Facebook page. Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, we'll hang out for a little bit. I'm really tired, but we're going to do a little bit of painting. And let me just get... Gotta remember my controls here. It's been a while since I've painted. It's actually been like 8 or 9 days. That's like one of the longest streaks I've gone without painting anything. Pretty crazy. But welcome in 2018, dog. Welcome, dude. Yeah. I don't know if you were aware of this, but I was in the Philippines for about a week, and I just got back in this morning and spent the day with my family, kind of just relaxing. Really, I'm too tired to really do much, and figured, I'm about to go to bed, so. Figured why not. And let's see who wants to hop on and chat. Get you all caught up on what's going on with me, and also just, same old hangout BS. Yeah, you probably saw some of the photos. I'm gonna open up my comments, my YouTube comment section here, because that's always seems to be. I did have a good time, and I have a number of stories, and they're gonna leak out as we kind of go through this. So here's what we're sort of working on tonight, and again, we have no goals, just sort of whatever we get to, right? So these are some of the Ronin that have been, kind of been waiting around in the queue. Oh, yeah, the train. That was fun. That was, for me, that rooftop party was one of the more fun parts of the trip there. All right, so let's get some browns together. It's gonna be pretty simple. Just most of these guys are lighter browns and darker browns. There's not much to it, and block some skin and a couple other colors. But yeah, that was cool because that was like a house party sort of, but it was actually an after party for my dad's wedding, which was really the entire point of me going out there. Are you gonna bother with the Hate Kickstarter? Hate is that the latest cool mini endeavor. Okay, here's the thing. It looks kind of cool, but one thing with the cool mini I'm starting to notice is when you look at the others and you look at Hate, and you even look at what's the I forget the name of their Massive Darkness. If you look at those, oh yeah, thanks, man. If you look at those Kickstarters, and you look at the art for those Kickstarters, they all seem really similar. They're all starting to run together. That sort of gothic, gothic Viking theme. It's sort of a, oh shoot, forget the name of that that artist that was doing a lot of Conan stuff back in the day. You know who I'm talking about. The famous artist that did like all the barbarian drawings and the Conan drawings. What's that cat's name? I forget. God, I can't believe I'm just so brain dead right now. I'm sorry. But it's all looking like just kind of a knockoff version of his art, and it's starting to turn me off because it's all looking the same, right? Which seems hypocritical coming from me. Oh, Frazetta, right. Thanks, man. Yeah. It all kind of reminds me of Frazetta stuff, and I'm like, well, Frazetta stuff is cool. Don't get me wrong, but the more Massive Darkness and Hate and Blood Rage look similar, the less interested I am in owning all three. Which is, again, with the Soda Pop Chibi, all the Soda Pop Chibi looks rather similar too. The themes are different though, because you got Super Dungeon Explorer, which is like fantasy, then you got Ninja All Stars, obviously, Japanese themed, and then you have Rail Raiders, which is like sci-fi themed, or sci-fi Western steampunk. So that's, I don't know. Yeah, so that's why I kind of I'm like, that's a little bit different, right? Yeah, a lot of Soda Pop stuff looks the same, but yes, but no. So and I know it's because they're using the same artist, and that's fine. It's just I'm starting to get bored of it. It looks good, but nondescript. I hate. That's the one. My biggest criticism of Cool Mini is their stuff looks good, but it's not distinct. It's just like, oh, okay. You can look at a Cool Mini thing and go, oh, it fits in that category. It's just a generic thing that fits in that category. Similar to how like Mantic is sort of like a genericized GW. Like, oh yeah, that's a Mantic thing because it's not distinctly GW. You can rule that out and go, okay, this is Mantic. But then a Mantic Dwarf, it's pretty similar. It's pretty stereotypical. You pretty much understand what you're getting into there. So, I don't know. That said, I mean, Hate does look kind of cool, and it's Cool Mini, so they are gonna probably make they'll make a solid rule set behind it. It just the more even the others. All those, they all look like good games, but they're not enough to draw me in. The last Cool Mini thing I backed was Rising Sun, which should actually be out in a month or so, which that's pretty exciting. So we'll get that. And I want to change my mind about Cool Mini stuff, because Cool Mini stuff is good stuff, and I end up liking their games. Like, I really like Black Plague, and I didn't back Black Plague, but at the same time, I don't regret not backing it. You know what I mean? I can get a good enough gaming experience not backing that. Hey, what's up, Congo? I'm getting a little bit of chop on my video here, so if it ends up being too choppy, I'll shut Twitch down. But I needed to get I wanted to get some presence back on Twitch. I think while I was gone, apparently I hit the Twitch achievement to be a Twitch affiliate. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah, Rising Sun and Green Horde should arrive. I think Green Horde is this month, and Rising Sun is next month. That's crazy that Rising Sun is fulfilling before, SDE Legends and and Relic Knights and Rail Raiders, not Rail Raiders, Way of the Fighter. No snooze, I don't want Windows updates yet. I want to say, Rising Sun was scheduled to arrive on your birthday. That's cool, man. Let's just get these. These are, all these guys are so similar in their color scheme. So just have a little fun spraying these out. But yeah, it was a good trip. Super fun. Got a little hectic at times. Also really eye-opening with regards to, you know, I learned a lot about my dad and what his intentions were in the Philippines and what we mean over there. That's the most interesting part of the trip, was discovering, you know, what my dad does over there and what that means to our family and to his goals, and how all of that sort of plays out over there. I mean, it was definitely a culture shock. And it was even a different culture shock than the one I experienced the last time I went to the Philippines. Because the last time I was in the Philippines, I was in the province that my parents were, that they're from. And the province basically, you know, provinces are usually like the more rural areas. The Philippines has, you know, it has a handful of major cities or metropolitan cities like Manila. And then they have the province. So when you say, okay, I'm going to the province, or I'm going to whatever in the Philippines, you know, province, or I'm going to Manila, those are to somebody from there, or somebody who's been there, those are two very different experiences. And so the last time I was out there, I was out in the province, and so the culture shock there was really just, it was almost, you know, for lack of a better term, but it really is more like being out in a rural third world setting, you know, where you don't really have things. What did I just wander into? What's up, Mark? You have the province, which is, you know, you may not have hot water everywhere. You may not even have showers. You may not have, some areas don't have electricity or refrigeration or that kind of thing. In the province, your money is worth an insanely high amount. You know, you have, there's the exchange rate, which I was telling you guys is 50 to 1. So that's already insanely high. And according to my cousins, they're like, yeah, you can actually feel, heaven forbid, you can feel Trump's impact over in the Philippines because the dollar is so strong. And so they were asked, like, they were shocked at, like, you know, how can so many people still be so upset at the guy when your economy is really, really starting to strengthen up, like really strengthen up. And I said, well, you know, we got into it a little bit when I was basically telling him, well, you know, there's a lot of components there, people that are find him offensive on you know, social issues and that kind of thing, and it's very interesting to see, you know, all of that. But then you're like, hey, but our economy is doing better than it's been in some time. So anyways, without getting into that, in the province, you are, you know, regardless of how the dollar happens to be doing, it's always going to be very strong in the province. So we were like insanely rich in the province. You know, the last time we were there, my cousin had, you know, the equivalent of $10, and we couldn't find change for it anywhere. That was just like way too much money for anyone out there. You know, you'd be lucky. Most of the people out there. Oh no, I'm not gonna do any. We're not talking political. I really don't care to. Too tired. Anyway, so you get that kind of experience in the province. This really rural, you know, chopping, you know, cutting through the jungles and dealing with the lack of amenities in places. But being in all, but you know, the upside to being in the province is, you know, just how beautiful it is out there, and how really kind of wonderful the people are out there, and like I said, really kind of appreciating what you have. So the province is really cool. But this time was different. I spent I spent the entire time in the Manila area. So I was in Makati. Okay, so Manila, you know, think of it like New York, right? It's got a lot of, it's got these boroughs essentially. Like, you know, you have like Brooklyn and Manhattan and Long Island and all of those, you know, areas. Similarly, the Philippines does too. Star Wars rant. Oh gosh. I still watch those Star Wars rants for fun. Like, those are entertaining for me to watch. Far more entertaining than the movie will ever be to me, is to watch people rant about it. But anyway, so in Manila, the urban experience, it's very much a social experience that you're getting, because, you know, now you're watching the class system really play out in the Philippines. You know, there's pretty much no middle class in the Philippines. Okay, you're either rich or you're poor. Now, there are definitely degrees of rich and poor, but that's what you are. You're either rich or you're poor. It's, you know, for us to come over there pretty much means by default that we're rich. But even then, like I said, there's some various degrees of that. Like this last time out, I was with the stupidly rich. Like the really, really stupidly rich. Like, we're talking about, you know, if the street names are named after their families, and and their politicians, and their entertainers, and their business owners, and their property moguls. And these are the people that I was with most of the time during this last trip. And it's like, it's weird because I keep calling them blue blood. Like, they're blue blood. If you guys are familiar with that term, a lot of the people I was with are sort of blue blood, old money, you know, Filipino families. And everything we did was very exclusive. You know, they made a big deal about having us go to all these like exclusive places. And then it was also very Victorian in a sense, you know, in that, you know, this is kind of traditional conservative Catholic, like I said, kind of old world sensibilities, right? And the families are they're large and like tight knit. Like think like old school mafia family, right? You have the old school mafia family, and you know, they own a number of the lands and the businesses and all that kind of stuff, and they all have their own private security and private drivers, and they live in private communities. They eat in they eat in popular restaurants, but they have private memberships to those restaurants that allow them to eat in, you know, restricted areas. They have their communities are restricted such that you can only go to their community by receiving membership, all that good stuff, right? All of that applies here, and it was good and interesting in that you see how I guess for me it's like, oh, this is what it would be like if I were a rich person. That's what my life would be like. But these people were like stupidly rich, right? None of them, their big families are gonna have to work for the rest of their lives. They're set. They have enough property. They have enough income coming in from their businesses that basically, if they just sort of protect their investments and maybe buy more businesses and buy more property, that they're going to be just fine. Now that's a trip. Uh-oh. We're getting a little bit of buffering. There we go. Okay. So just take that for what it's worth. I mean, Filipino Kardashian. No, well, yes, but like imagine them being talented and good looking. Like imagine them actually being worthy, like people, not just complete piles of garbage. That's what you have. And they were super nice. The family that my dad married into is a large family full of a lot of rather affluent and influential people, which is cool. But then it's also very old world, right? You have like the family has they usually have a matriarch. They have the matriarch socialite who is kind of all up in your shit and in your business and wants to know about your life and wants to basically kind of in a way control you. It was like, okay, we're gonna have lunch here, we're gonna have dinner here, and these are like some of the most exclusive places in the country, and we're gonna do that, right? And you're impressed by that or whatever, or maybe you're not, up to you. But you have all that going on, and then it's like that's your plans for the evening, and it's very offensive to say no. So like if they invite me to dinner, this is a frustrating part too, because I like I want to run around, I want to go to bars, I want to what's the term? I want to mix it up, right? That's what I want to do. I want to run around, I want to mix it up a little bit. But you can't. You can't if they're, it's like, oh, they don't even like they didn't like the fact that I was running around and just, I was using the Filipino Uber to get around town. I was using Grab, and they're like, no. We're gonna send drivers and and all this stuff. But sometimes I wanted to go places like that they couldn't give a shit about, like, or they didn't want to know about. Like if I wanted to go to no, that's very easy to do. I stayed I stayed about a block away from the red light district, and one of the guys I was partying with takes me over to like the ledge, and we look over, and he points down and goes, "You see those ladies down there? Those are all prostitutes." So there's plenty of that to be had. But no, I mean, like I for example, I wanted to find the hobby store, right? And it's not like I can take the other members of the family with me to go do that. It's not like I can be like, hey, we're gonna go look for a hobby store. Like they wouldn't even understand the concept of what this is. I did explain it to one of the guys there who did voice acting. It was kind of cool. He did voice acting for Filipino TV. He also did some for US. He worked some smaller gigs in the US. But he was like, well, what's your hobby? And I said, well, most of the time I'm watching my two little boys, which is Okay, that's kind of half bullshit. No, actually, I do spend a lot of time with the boys during the evenings. Um, but yeah, I said, most of my time is taken up there. And he says, well, he was smart. He's like pushed a little further. He's like, no, 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 but what do you do after that? And I was like, okay, well, late at night, one of my things to do is I like to do painting and miniature wargaming. And he was like, wow, never heard of that hobby. I talked to him about it a little bit. But I mean, that's a concept in the Philippines that very, 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 very few people understand. And I'm sure I'll get to it later. It's not. It's a very difficult. It's a very difficult market to try to start miniature wargaming communities in. So, if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Paint and Live. Would we just lose? Make sure. Okay. Looks like our Twitch viewership is down. So yeah, when I couldn't, there were some people that were like, we'll send you a driver or whatever. What do you want to do today? That's just you can't really explain that that's what you want to do. When I went to go see Jose and play Guild Ball, that was met with some resistance because they're like, well, why don't you just invite him here? We have an entire building. Which is a solid point. And I actually did want Jose to come. I would prefer Jose come and hang out where I was. Okay, so I think I talked a little bit about the boroughs, right? So the name of the borough I was in is called Makati City. Okay, Makati City is kind of the business and financial hub of Manila, and it's so Makati is sort of the Manhattan of Manila. It's everything's fairly upscale. There's a lot of banking institutions there, and so it's a more upscale place. They were welcome. Yes, that's the thing. It's the one thing that the theme that I kept getting from the whole trip was I kept telling myself that it's like too much of a good thing. You know what I mean? It's almost pathological hospitality. You know what I mean? So, and I hope it's not coming off as ungrateful. But I'm just trying to explain it within our cultural context so that it makes sense to you guys, and I'm sure it does. So Makati is really cool because Makati is a fairly well-to-do area, and the lady that my dad married, her brother owns a building in Makati, which it's kind of like a B&B type joint. It's an 8-story building that's fully staffed and it's got its own drivers and housekeeping and people that just look after you, right? So the guy looking after us was Junjun. Junjun was our guy. These Filipino names are weird, I know. But Junjun was rad. It's this skinny little Filipino guy, probably like 75 pounds. I'm not kidding. This guy was skinny, right? But he was just great. If I needed anything, Junjun was my guy. I was like, Junjun, I need to buy you a beer, man. We need to go hang out. And, that's not considered appropriate in the Philippine society. You know what I mean? It's think like The Help. As fucked up as that sounds, but think like that. Yeah, it's you just don't do that. Although you can buy him stuff, you can tip him. I tipped him really rather generously, and I know my dad did too, because he took really good care of us. If I had dirty clothes or anything, they'll do my laundry. They do your laundry every day. They tell you how to get around. They help you arrange your transportation if you need it. Like I said, I ended up using Uber, go everywhere. Was he the guy with the big sunglasses? No, we'll get to him in a minute. He's a whole other story. So yeah, so Junjun was taking care of us while we were there. We had my dad, and the lady he was marrying had one floor of the building that was basically our floor. You know, you could run around. That's whatever you needed to do. The rest of the top floor was for the owner's immediate family. So he had the top floor, or they had the top floor, and you know, a lot of the shots that I ended up posting are from the top floor. I just walk up there. The rooftop party that will also occurred on the top floor. So that was like a totally just private party, which was amazing. That was some of the most fun I've had in some time. I'm just doing a little. We're gonna give these guys a little more color. So that's where we were, right? And most of the time, like, you know, for lunch or dinner or whatever, it was like, oh, you know, we're gonna go eat at the Polo Club. So I didn't even realize that was a thing. That's in the first video that I put up. Was the first day we met them. The owner of the building, his wife, took us to dinner at the Manila Polo Club, which was just crazy. That was crazy. That like stupidly exclusive club down there, and it's, you know, and the food was amazing, right? Let me just give you guys some fair warning here. For the most part, I don't like Filipino food. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't like Filipino food, and it was like, and my dad was freaking killing me with the Filipino food, because he just kept taking me to Filipino food. Oh, we're gonna have I'm like, it was horrible too, because it's like we would go to some of these like really private, exclusive places, and instead of getting good food, we would get like Filipino food. And I'm like, we're surrounded by good food, Dad. Can we have some good food? No, that was not okay. So you know, most of the time, most of the evenings, the evening meals and so forth were controlled by a few different people. And there's usually, you know, the heads of the larger, the more prominent families would invite us places. And, you know, I'm there primarily to represent my dad and our family. And so it's a huge, they take it as a huge offense if I don't go, you know. If I don't accept an invitation to dinner or lunch or something like that, that's a huge offense, right? Because if they're gonna do dinner at their house or at a resort or something like that, they're gonna send us drivers. They're gonna send people to look after us. We're gonna have, you know, for lack of a better term, servants. We're gonna have people like taking care of our every need. And that's like, for me, that's also kind of unsettling too, right? You're like, wow, this person is like, you know, they're clearly the lower class person, and they're expected to basically wait on my every need. I need anything. If there's something at the table that I want to eat that's not available, it's their job to go get that, to make it happen, and to ensure that is you have malls, and that's it. Octave like my culture food, but get that man a sausage. Yeah, we'll get to it. I mean, I like the third day I was there, or whatever, I hitched a ride with some of the younger members of the family to one of their big malls, and their malls are stupidly big. They're stupidly big. Okay, they put U.S. malls to shame. The small mall had 6 stories. You know, it had a rooftop dining area where it had all the restaurants in it, and then it had 4 levels of a regular mall. So for those of you like that are familiar with the Southern California area, think like South Coast Plaza type thing, you know, where it's like they really kind of focus on the higher end shops, on tourism, that kind of thing. And it's a good and a bad thing, because it's like, yeah, it's this really beautiful, like, high-end thing, but it's not really a Filipino-style bargain. You know, you keep hearing about what a bargain it is to shop in the Philippines. Well, it is. It is with a caveat. You know, it's not like you need to shop in not the most upscale places. Because the most upscale places, like I said, are more like South Coast Plaza. They're more like, yeah, it's shit you can't afford at home, but it's like upper class shit. Like, it's like stuff, like big name brands, things that you wouldn't want to pay for anyway, right? So it's like, okay, this purse or whatever costs $700 in the US, and it costs $500 in the Philippines, so I don't care. I didn't want something that nice to begin with, right? I just wanted, like, I wanted cheap electronics and some discount. I wanted a few discount clothes, which I was able to find. You know, on the third day when I snuck off by myself, I had the, I managed to get that cool sushi joint with the cars, and I really enjoyed that. Let me just do a little skin here. Whoa. So yeah, the other thing is, like I said, it was a little unsettling for them to hear that I was running around the city by myself. Because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to run around a little bit by myself. Not the wisest thing to do. You know, if you're a Filipino American, then it can be a little dangerous, because you are a kind of a higher priority target for kidnapping. But for the most part, you're safe. I felt safe for the most part. I made sure I stayed in the better parts of town. But you know, with like Uber, right? There's a chance in this country that if you set up an Uber, that you could get robbed or beaten or assaulted or even raped taking an Uber here. Very similar risk over there. Octave, the guy of minis instead of Mayor of Flavor Town, Mayor of Mini Game Town. But yeah. So we did stuff like that. There were, you know, the two main times that I was really able to kind of kick back and enjoy, you know, just really cut loose and enjoy, would be the rooftop party, which we'll get to, and the last night there with my cousin, which was pretty freaking awesome. What else? I guess I should do the whites here. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're just messing around, honestly. We're just painting this Ninja All-Star stuff that's seriously low priority. But it's a good warm-up, you know, it's a good way to get back into the swing of painting. And there's really no liabilities here. It's not a commission. These guys are probably not even going to end up in a game of Ninja All-Stars. Well, that's not true. Because I'll do an event for them at Kingdom Con. I'll do like a battle arena where you can pick a Ronin, and your job is to score the most points in the game by defeating other Ronin, or scoring objectives, or that kind of thing. I guess I should give him a little bit of a tone to this, like the white part of his head wrap here. Alright, so anyways, so there was a couple days of that. It's like you go to a mall, you go have dinner with some people, you paste on a shit-eating grin, and everything is just so damn wholesome, and wow, you know, you talk about your job, and you talk about your kids, and they talk about their kids, and oh, you know, they're so good at gymnastics, and this person's getting singing lessons, and you know, they do that, thing, that Filipino thing, which is, it's not really a Filipino thing. It's kind of, I don't know if your family or if you've run into people that do this. I call it the do it, right? Do it, which is like you get around people that like you're having dinner or some sort of. Oh, hey, what's up, Tori? Welcome to the feed. Thanks for tuning in on the Twitch side of things, sir. But like you have, let's say you're a young kid, right? You're preteen, teenager, or whatever, maybe even younger. For me, I had to do it, right? Like when my parents would entertain guests, they would come over the house. It was like, oh, you know, Octave and Christine, my sister, you guys go play piano for them, right? Do it, right? They point the finger, do it, play the piano, right? So that was our do it thing. We had to go play piano for guests of my parents, right? That's a very common like Filipino thing. This is to put their kids on the spot and make them entertain you. Do the break dance or something like that. In this case, you know, they made their kids sing, and you know the kids they're good kids and they comply. They're not like me. So they were complying. And so we'd have to sit there, and it's like I feel like these kids were somehow being tortured, but they're not. Some of the kids like it. Other kids are like, ugh, they just do it, you know. These are rich kids, though, right? They, like I was saying earlier, they're not gonna have to work a day of their life. They're rich kids. They're set, you know, and they can come over here and cut their own cloth. That's a thing. Or they can expand their parents' businesses and their own properties, and that's normally the route that they take. But there's a few different ways they can go about it, right? So during the evenings, I'd have to sit there and watch people do it, right? And just kind of paste a shit-eating grin and go, wow, you know, that was really great. Don't get me wrong, the kids are talented. They're good singers. There's one kid that was just a really good singer and good dancer. I think I put him in the video. He was like doing some dance. He's this real kind of like quiet, understated kid most of the time, but it's like his do it meter is super high. So like you can make him do it in all kinds of ways, like oh, sing or dance or do anything like that, and they do it. Like my dad's wedding was full of do it moments, like where the kids were singing songs for the new couple and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Is it weird that I find that? I find it a little unsettling. I mean, if some kids are total hams, right? Like my wife was a pretty precocious little kid. Like she was totally good singing or dancing or whatever for people. And so she has a high do-it meter. I do not have a high do-it meter. You know, and some of these, like the older Filipino ladies, yeah, do it. Some of the older Filipino ladies get really, really damn pushy about stuff. It's like they want you to go dance. Like they will yank you by your arm and physically drag you out there. Like unless you're stronger than they are, you're like And it always used to piss me off growing up. You know, so many times I'm like so tempted to just like totally make it backfire on someone. Oh, hey, what's up, Cheddar Monkey? Welcome to the feed. Yeah, you find the do it thing weird. It's like showing your kid off like it's like they're a prop, or it's like, here, I want to impress my friends. You better effing do this, right? You better sing the song, like sing, monkey, sing, or dance, or whatever, right? So I find it a little unsettling, and I don't want to be. It even puts the person that they're trying to impress in a weird spot. In my opinion, again, just my opinion. It'd be like, so they want their kid to sing, like, oh, Mani, come sing for your uncle, and suddenly I'm their uncle, because that's how it is in Filipino culture. You're their uncle. Again, this is a concept which will eventually backfire. Do it for your uncle, right? And every part of me is like, nah, they don't have to kind of sit there and go, wow, that was incredible. Again, it is incredible, right? Their kid does have talent, but still, it's just a weird. I think you guys get the gist of it. It's still just kind of a weird spot to be in. That's all I'm getting at. So you got to do that most of the time, and then your days are spent in the mall, and so it drives me. It's like, dude, I just want a beer. I just want a beer. Can I just get a beer? Can I just kick back? And so it kind of went on like that for a few days. And I was only on the ground for 5 days, but like the first 2 or 3 days was just that. Now I will say, the drivers that you get are fucking amazing. They are crazy, man. I don't know if it shows up on some of the footage that I uploaded on YouTube, but you can see the driver, like, they're cutting laser beams through stuff. I mean, they're driving through construction, and they've got people on bikes around them. They have pedestrians. They have cars that are, facing 9 different directions. They're driving on the shoulder. They're driving on the sidewalk. Whatever the hell they need to do to get you there. And especially private drivers for families. So private drivers for families, like, that's what they're like a wheelman for like a bank heist, you know what I mean? They will get you from point A to point B safely, but in the craziest manner possible. The other thing about like the family hired drivers is they have all these stickers, because to get into certain neighborhoods you need certain stickers. Oh, hey, what's up, Jose? So I'm explaining like Filipino shit to them, Jose. Basically the beginning part of my trip. So none of this is news to Jose. He knows all about it. But anyways, so they have stickers that allow them to go into these exclusive neighborhoods. And, the lady that we were having dinner with, again, her husband owns the building that we were going to. Their neighbors, they live in the same neighborhood as Manny Pacquiao. So like we go by his house every time. But in addition to like being in those neighborhoods, like those neighborhoods are really good shortcuts to get around the ridiculous rampant traffic problem that Manila has. Right? Manila traffic is no fucking joke. My cousin was telling me that Manila, that there's some studies that claim that Manila is the most stressful city in the world to live in, and I believe it. Just on yeah. How are you, Jose? I think you had to go in and do some more tests this week. How did those go? That's more important than my bullshit story. Tell us how you doing, man. But anyways, I'll keep talking while Jose updates us in the chat. These neighborhoods are, because they're so exclusive, they're great detours, or they're great shortcuts through traffic. So these professional family drivers, they have a bunch of stickers based on where the family owns property. If they own property in this community, they have a sticker. They can go through the gates, right, to get through, and they can cut around traffic. And our wheel guy, his name is Arnell. Arnell is he's some crazy genius savant driver guy, right? And I agree with you, Cheddar Monkey. Asian girls are beautiful. Oh my gosh, there were a lot of, it's crazy and almost a little sad to see all these like beautiful young girls walking the streets, and some of them are just poor as shit, right? Most of them are like the girls that work in the shops in the various malls, and they work, right, the only shortcut for the chosen, right. So yeah, we'll get into the girls in a minute here, but it is rather insane. Yeah, so Forbes Park, yeah, that's where Pacquiao lives, and that's where they live as well. So these professional drivers, they duck in and out of these neighborhoods to get around traffic, which is insane. Because I've had both ways. I've been through the shortcuts, and then I've also done like the Uber, where it's called Grab in the Grab in the Philippines. It's another interesting thing about the Philippines is their use of the English language. It's not. There's some context missing. They had some funny things like there's a hotel called I'm Hotel. It's just I''M. I'm Hotel. I'm like, oh, hi hotel. I'm stop sign. And so they have that, and then the word insular. The word insular is really interesting. For like the Filipino use of the word insular is interesting, because they use the word insular to mean like protected, like safe. They use the positive aspects of the word insular, which is technically correct, right? When you say insular, that means protected or shielded or safe, but it's usually a negative connotation, right? If insular can be used is often used as a character trait. It can mean stuck up, or just keeps to yourself, doesn't associate with outsiders. So you can be insular, and that's kind of that's a negative. Wow, my ear just popped from the flight just now. I've been home for hours and hours. So that's interesting. So you have insular, and they were using the word insular for like life insurance. And there was like insular tires. I'm like, really? Insular tires? There's stuck up tires. But yeah, you gotta love that. The Filipino English is on a different league than, say, standard Japanese or Chinese English, because Japanese or Chinese English, they'll just use their accent and just get it wrong. They'll just flat out get it wrong. Filipinos are technically correct. They're not 100% wrong. They're using a word that doesn't get used very often, and it usually carries a different context with it. Starfleet massage, yeah. So yeah, I know I'm all over the place. I'm tired, and we're just, like I said, we're just effing around. What were we talking about? Insular. We were talking about professional drivers and going through these neighborhoods versus taking Grab around town. But it was cool. I thought that was super fun. Like again, probably not the wisest thing to do by yourself, but I didn't care. It was fun. And so I did that for a few days, and then the third, or what was it, the fourth day was the actual wedding. Like Jedi Advanced Employment Agency, yeah. So we had the wedding on the fourth day, and that was a trip because it was in this gigantic chapel with this long name, Saint Therese of the Jesus Miracle Christ of Friends, or something. It was like this really long name, and really, really like ancient style chapel. which is really cool. You know, they did a real traditional style mass, and the people there uh, was a number of like family and people that my dad had associated with over the years, that knew that either that my dad has helped, or they know, or old family friends, or a lot of them remember me as a baby. I need to find someone who can set my crazy self straight. Yeah, I hear that. Um, so yeah, it was a real traditional wedding, and that was cool. And then after the wedding, we went to this like resort thing. Really beautiful resort, and it has, of course, it has an exclusive club um, in the resort, and so we go to the club. We go to this exclusive club, and it's absolutely gorgeous down there for a mini reception. It wasn't the reception proper for my dad and his new wife. That's actually happening on the 27th or 28th, I forget. And it's so awesome down there, and whatever. And they break out Filipino food, and I was like, oh my god, can't believe we came all the way down here, this really cool place, and we're just gonna have Filipino food. All right, so if you find my little rants on Filipino food offensive, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. That's like, in my opinion, Filipino food is it's fairly basic stuff. It's not it was never designed to be like high-end, high cuisine, right? It's Filipino. It's just what it is. What it is. It's just, that's it. There's no, I don't know. But that was like, it made me a little sad. I was like, that's what we're having. So we're having the reception down there, and and here comes the do it factor again, right? There's a couple of kids in the family that have been rehearsing a song for the better part of the week. They've been, they're a brother and sister team, and they're incredible singers. Yeah, well, I'm the most exclusive Japanese. I know, man, and I know the family could get into Tsukiji. I know they can get into that, right? These guys were, like I said, these are blue bloods. Like, they could get in. I'm sure they can. Anyway, so there's this rehearsed song, and it's really pretty. I think the boy is like 9 years old, and his little sister is like 6 or 7, and they harmonize well, and it's like this really well-oiled machine. So they sing, and I record that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. A couple of the other kids sing. Some of the younger kids get up there and sing. Suddenly it's like this weird, like, karaoke jam that just doesn't end. It's like singer after singer after singer. But here's the thing. In this family, these kids, like, they take voice lessons, they take singing lessons, dance lessons. They take these things to get better and better and better. And they showcase these skills at these family functions. And so that's what we're seeing, and it's really cool, but it's like, it's all so polished, right? And then you have some of the older kids sing. And when I say kids, I mean like 40s, 30s, and 40s. They get up, and some of them have sung for, theater production companies. Some of them have recorded songs, and they get up and sing, and again, it's all professional. It's like, it's all professional skill, and like, oh gosh, and this goes on, and I'm recording it, and again, you have to paste that wholesome, like, shit-eating smile on your face while you're watching this stuff. Again, I'm not trying to say it's not entertaining, but it's like too much. You know what I mean? It's the Philippines. It's like, you get too much of something. Like, they try to murder you. They try to beat you over the fucking head with something that you like. That's something that you can't really complain that you're getting, because it's a good thing. But still, ungrateful me, I can figure out a problem with it, and that problem is we're getting too much. We need to calm the fuck down, right? Life needs to go on. He complains about it's Philippine food and I want my German food and would do them right now. Yeah, so I love German food, by the way. Um, so all of that happened, right? Uh, and it's like 7 o'clock, and we do some dancing over there. Not a drop of alcohol. And I'm thinking, wow, I've been to sober weddings before, and they're awful. Like I think it's basically a crime. Like, really? Like maybe that's just me being sad and needing like some liquid assistance in social gatherings and large social gatherings. I need that. It's good to have a little liquid assistance just to kind of loosen you up a little bit. Uh, and so it didn't happen. And so I was a little bummed about that. And they're like, no, 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 no. Don't worry about it. Come hang with us. Right? I was like, okay. So after the formal reception is over, we go back to the building that we're staying at, and the young kids there. And again, I'm saying young, but I mean like, our age, right? Anywhere from 25 to 40. And it's in the Philippines, it's next to impossible to tell how old anyone is, right? Because like Jose's nurse looked like she was 12. And his doctor looked like she was 14. Like they all looked really young, and they were fairly young. I think they're in their 20s or whatever. It's just a weird thing. Like everybody there's like young, or they look young or really old, and there's like very little in between. I forgot to mention that too. The night before the wedding, I went and visited Jose in the critical care unit. He was in the hospital being observed. We were actually supposed to meet a little earlier during the trip. We were going to meet and have a little lunch, do a little shopping, but he had an asthmatic episode, a bit of a scare, and so they had him under observation. And so that day, I'm like, I'm having dinner with the swells again, and I'm like, okay, guys, I need to cut out. I need to go see my friend. He's in the hospital, and they're all up in your shit. Like they want to know, oh, what's going on with your friend, and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So, I cut out. I went and just hopped another Grab and headed over there to go see Jose. And Jose's in his room sucking down a nebulizer when I get there. And we were watching shitty TV while we were there. The hospital ER was interesting. They had like a Burger King, a Wendy's. They had I forget what else. They had like 3 or 4 restaurants on the lower levels. That was kind of cool. I was half tempted to go sneak some Burger King in for Jose, but Jose, they had him on a stricter, like, low sodium diet. So that was cool. That was also another like interesting moment for me, because I'm thinking like, man, I get a little nervous going to ERs here in the U.S. because you think about MRSA and all that stuff. My wife is like very cautious about stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'm glad I helped kill some of your boredom in there. That was pretty rough though. It's like, man, I'm gonna go visit my buddy on vacation and he's in the freaking hospital. So yeah, that happened. Then the wedding happened, and then so we're gearing up to go to the after party. I think it's gonna be no big deal, right? It's probably just gonna be 5 or 10 of us up there on the rooftop, just throwing a few back and enjoying it, right? Have a couple beers, just enjoy the view. And so I put on essentially what are my jammies, right? I put on a shitty boba t-shirt and like kind of, have you ever seen those like They're basically pajama pants. They're just like the thin cotton pants. You mean a building full of sick people may get you sick? Exactly. Yeah, and Jose, you had a cute nurse, man. You should have hit on your nurse, man. But anyway, um, so so I get up there, and it's a full blown fucking party. And so I'm up there in my jankies. It's a full blown party. Half the girls there are still dressed up from the wedding, and these are. And I was telling Jose, I'm like, man, I wish single, every single friend of mine was at this, because it was like a fucking rap video up in that piece, man. They were, you know, they had the music playing up there. They had bottles of vodka, wine. They didn't have beer yet. I was set to change that. Uh, and so I get up there, I'm just bullshitting with some of the people, getting to know them. They're getting to know me. They want to know where I'm from, all this stuff. A lot of them are now, technically I'm related to them by this marriage, by my dad's marriage. Um, so, and so one of the guys, we get to talking, and I noticed during the wedding and also after the wedding, people are coming up and taking their picture with him. Like, not just people, you don't suspect anything when it's like you're in a wedding and there's a wedding party and people come up and take their picture with you. Like, people were running up and taking their picture with me because they're like, hey, we're related, and they were literally related to me. This was different. This was like people, the hotel staff. There were like other people well outside of the circle of the wedding that wanted to come up and take pictures with this dude, and they would take pictures with this dude, and whole families or whatever. And I'm like, I wonder what that's about, right? So we're hanging out. His name is Bob. They call him Bob, right? And he asked me about myself, and I'm like, hey, Bob, we need to go get some beer, man. If I'm gonna hang out and drink with you guys, we're gonna get some beer. He's like, yeah. We'll make sure that happens. I'll get the car ready down below. He calls down. They set up a car, um, and uh, and we get down there and we go on a beer run. And you guys saw that. Like, you go to the mall at night, and there's a supermarket in the mall, and that's where you do your beer run. And he was being recognized in the mall. I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? Turns out he is he's a local, like a TV celebrity down there, right? Like I said, he's a local TV celebrity. There was a couple of the other, like one of the other guys was a voice actor. There was another person there. I think she was like a recording artist. And so they were, they're kind of local celebrity status. So that was interesting. And like, he actually got a little annoyed when I had my camera on, like I had the YouTube camera on, because it's like that's probably not. He doesn't want to. He's a minor celebrity, even if he's a celebrity. Like, he shouldn't be on some random dude's like vlog, right? I get that, but I recorded us anyway. But he was a funny guy. Yeah, this is the guy with the big glasses. He's Bob is a fucking character. He's entertaining. He's super fun. Really cool guy. Yeah, so he chilled for the most part during the evening while everybody was dancing and singing and all that kind of stuff. Because they even had like the rooftop party had like a microphone set up, so whenever a song came on that the girls liked, they would like grab the microphone and sing into a speaker. And like, so it would be like impromptu karaoke. Like, when your song comes on, you run up there and you sing your song, which is pretty damn cool. But yeah, I'm gonna say this, like, some of them girls that we're marrying into, those are there's some dinies up in that piece, man. There was some good looking ladies there. But it's back to Cheddar's earlier comment. There's just a lot of good looking, if you like Asian girls, the Filipino girls are they're really cute, and they're good women. And I hate to put it, that sounds so shitty, but like, they're, what's the word? They're, oh gosh, hold on. I need to get rinse water. One sec. You guys can talk it out. I'm trying to say that they're very apt with domestic skills, but you guys can put a fine point on that. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Okay, so yeah, so the girls there are, they tend to be much more subdued, conservative in nature. This is why, that's like the stereotype. That's why all the white dudes want to marry um, Asian women because they're docile, they're easier to control or whatever. And I don't know, as offensive as it sounds, they're not. Yeah, they're they're easy. Yeah, some of these old they have more traditional outlook. They have a more traditional outlook on things, and take it. You make your own moral judgments on that, whether or not you think that's good or bad or whatnot. I'm not here to judge. That's just that's there's truth to that. And that's why these girls are considered desirable. But if you're gonna marry, uh, even date, even dating, some of these like Filipina socialites, it's like think of the U.S. like in the 1950s, right? If if your daughter is gonna date the Adams boy from a couple of doors down, like you need to make sure that like he's from a good pedigree, right? Your last name means something. Your family name is important in the Philippines, because there's a history to your name, and they know like they know the prominent members of your family. For example, my last name, right? There's some there's a bit of prestige and pedigree to my last name, and when you say my last name to people, they associate it with the more um, I guess the more public people um, from our house. So it's not like in some ways like if uh, let's say I wasn't married and I was looking to find a partner in the Philippines, my last name by itself would carry some value. It's like, oh, you're going to marry into that family this guy is from this family, and this is what happens, and so there's a pedigree, there's like a stock, like a you know, and again, I'm leaving moral judgments out of that. However you feel about that in the class system, that's where you got to put yourself though. Culturally, you got to put yourself like in the 1950s. Like, oh, that's where, oh, his family's from this province, and even here in the States, in the higher societal circles, there's still people today that will talk like that. Oh, you're from, um, like, you're from this famous family. You're a Kennedy, or uh, I don't know. You guys know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm too tired to really get into it. So when Jose's uncle starts yelling at me, I'm skipping around. So when Jose's uncle starts yelling at me, and he's like, "You, you need to get Jose married. That's your job now." you know, and I'm like, dude, I did my part. But the other thing I could have said to him was like, "You are in the freaking Philippines. Like, Jose's last name carries some pedigree. Like, it carries some meaning to it. he can get himself a a good bride if that's what he wanted to do. If he were so inclined, he could do that. Um, so there's that aspect as well. The funny thing is, it's such a that entire concept is so frowned upon um, over here in the States, but and some people in the States still practice that. I I don't know, man. It's don't take that shit serious. No, dude. I'm just saying, like, if you want to get married, like, you are in the PI, man. Like, it would not be hard. You'd be like, hey, and I'm not just talking like mail order. You know what I mean? I'm not talking really about that. I'm just saying, like, you can get set up, you can get paired up. It's fairly easy. You know, some families over there, and it's almost like freaking Game of Thrones. Like, oh, you have a son, I have a daughter. Let's marry our houses. You know, there's some prestige behind my dad's wedding because these are two prominent names in the these are two prominent families in the Philippines. So there's some, there's a bit of prestige behind that too. There's a bit of, oh well, she's how you pronounce my name to Filipinos is you pronounce it Villar. Oh, she's a Villar now. That's like that for whatever reason that carries some meaning to it. Like, they think of the politician that's in our family. They think of some of the businessmen in our family. Um, they think of that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't know. We kind of jumped here. Um, I just prevented Mr. Freeze from reviving Nora. I feel like a butt. um, yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, like even like random girls in the street, there are so many pretty, pretty girls out, just out and about. And most of them, from what I can tell, seem to be very, very sweet. I know that sometimes there's some like negative connotation around, oh, white guy marries another Filipino girl and he brings her back from the islands and all this stuff. But I understand both sides of that. Like I understand where that's coming from, and I try not to judge because, love is love, and sometimes there's a logical side to it, whether you want to agree with that or not. Um, I know if I had not crash rushed to the ER, my cousins are supposed to take me around with their friends to meet people. Yeah, dude, we could have got you to that roof party. That I'm telling you, that shit was like, it was like a rap video up in that piece. But the other part of that too, though, is it's like if you met someone up there, you would meet all of her brothers and male cousins and stuff too. So you would have to navigate those waters as well. And I liked that in a sense too, because it was like I was telling the guys there, I'm like, this is the safest place for me to get this drunk. And I got trashed. Like, I hadn't been that drunk in a long time. And I know you guys here have seen me drunk. You guys, you guys here have seen me in some episodes. I'm talking like I got like phenomenally trashed over there. We went to the mall and I bought what I thought was sake, and we poured a shot of it. One of the other girls there, she's like, "Oh, I want to try what you're drinking." So, um, so I poured us both a shot, and I poured, you guys see how I pour shots of sake, right? Uh, so I poured myself a shot. I poured her a shot, and she kind of looked at me like, no. I poured her a smaller one. She looked at me like, no, no, no. I can keep up with you. right? And so I poured her a shot, and we did that. And that's how I found out it was vodka. I was like, oh shit, this is vodka. And it was good vodka. Uh, and she took that shot and she's like, oh, this is good. Pour me another one. I was like, what? Now, here's the other thing about the Philippines that I learned. Uh, these these like little skinny, these like 80-pound girls, maybe 80 pounds. They're maybe 80 pounds soaking wet. These 80-pound girls, like the cute, sweet little petite, like really polite, just sweet as pie. These girls during the day, just the most innocent looking people you've ever seen. These chicks can drink you under the fucking table, right? They can reduce you to the fucking rookie that you are, you stupid American. And I learned that 15 years ago when I was out. We were out drinking with my cousin Mike and his then fiance. Again, she must have been like me and my cousin from here. Um, we drink all, we were drinking all the time. This was back when I was single. We drank all the time. And like I said, we were out in the Philippines every night drinking in the province with our cousins. And, that was where the first Red Horse story started, and they made fun of us. But the second story was, we're out drinking, and the young girl, she takes the bottle of gin to the, like, straight to the head and just tanks that shit, just crushes that freaking bottle in front of us. And we're like, holy shit. Yeah, these girls, I don't know, and it's the skinny ones too, because the bigger girls were just shitty, flailing drunk like I was, but the skinny ones, man, they could just drink us all under the table. Pretty wild. Most people start drinking around 13. Makes sense then. Yeah, those girls were no joke. I was like, oh, I better take it easy on you. Me being like I better take it easy. You're just a girl. Feminism happening in front of my face, right? The local beer is mainly substitute for water. Well, they were only drinking hard stuff. And according to my cousin's, his fiance, she was telling me, like, no, 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 no. The girls don't really drink beer here. They stick to gin and vodka and wine. And they pick one drink and they stick with it. And at the rooftop party, we had girls there mostly drinking vodka. A couple of them were drinking wine. And they stick to the one drink. Like, they don't stop to have a beer or whatever. They're just going to drink vodka the whole evening. That was some crazy shit, man. So I got so tanked that, the whole rooftop started to spin, right? Now Manila, the entire city of Manila is spinning. And I'm like, okay. It's time to call it. It's time to call it. So called it in early evening, passed out, went downstairs, passed out in my room. Woke up a little later, had half a mind to go back up. Decided not to. It's fine. I'm an old guy now. I don't need to. I had my fun while I was up there. We did lots of dancing, lots of singing. It was good times. I didn't need to run it. You know what I mean? I didn't need to go overboard. So it was good stuff. But yeah, that shit was a rap video. You had just girls like basically grinding in the air. these like cute Filipino chicks just grinding like they're in a rap video. And I had half a mind to record that shit. I had half a mind to just record some of that just so you guys could see it. And I was like, nah, that's not right. That's not right. It's not okay. And it's so cool because, totally private party. It's about the safest you could ever be, but super fun. I don't know, I drink like vodka like sweet tea. Well, maybe you can keep up. I certainly cannot. I'm okay with that. That's a young man's game. I don't need to be doing that no more. I'm just here to have a good time. uh, got me. That was me during the wake spinning street. Too many people laughing and passing beers and shots. Yikes. I should go look at. I put that all on my laptop. I should go see what other footage I have from that party. Super fun though. Anyways, I'm just gonna work on some random shit here. So, what are you guys working on while I'm doing this? Jose, I know you are not painting, but what are you doing? Are you still holed up in your place, or can you get out and get a little air? I'm not calling it fresh air because we know it's not fresh air. That's the one issue with freaking Manila. That is easily one of the most polluted places I've ever been to. Like, I remember looking at Hong Kong Bay and how black and polluted the water is there, and the smog in Hong Kong and all that kind of stuff, and San Bernardino and how smoggy San Bernardino is and all this stuff. But Manila is really, really, really polluted. You're gonna head somewhere tomorrow? That's cool. Are you gonna head like outside of the main city, or are you gonna go to like I don't know, Tagaytay or something like that? That would be cool. I wish my dad was able to get us down to Punta Fuego the last day. That would have been fun. But it's all good because we got to play some Guild Ball, so I'm stoked on that. I don't need a party grill. I need a straight-laced German grill to set my shit straight. Oh, you're just gonna stay in the city? Okay, all good. I don't know what the hell else there is to do in the city other than go to malls, maybe check out a museum. I tried to go to a museum. They took me to the Museum of the Mind. That's a kids museum. And I'm like, thanks. So that wasn't quite what I was expecting. All right. By the way, Jose, thanks for the green tea and the strawberry Kit Kat, or the green milk, whatever that flavor was. My kids had some of that today. They loved it. Yeah, it's good stuff. My wife tried one too. I think she liked it. Oh man, cannot. I cannot get this to da. Where's the? It's like the nozzle is stuck under the lid proper. There it goes. Got it. Now, I hope it doesn't explode onto the my palette. There we go. Not too much. Yeah. Yeah, no, they really enjoyed it. Punta Fuego would have been amazing. Yeah. Yeah, my like I said, my new Tito has a house there in Punta Fuego, which is supposed to be ridiculous. So my dad was like, "No, I really want you to see his place in Punta Fuego," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down. You know, let me know if it happens." And they they went today instead of Monday, or sorry, Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'll also bring back some of that instant winter melon milk tea. so we can. I didn't think that stuff was half bad. I just thought it needs you need to you need to put it in more water. It was a little too sweet, a little too concentrated. But I liked it. So yeah, so we did that. Then after the wedding that Sunday, I met up with Jose at Jose's place, uh, which is cool too. Jose lived in he stays in a different side of town called Pasay City, and that's by the airport and by the foreign embassy. Um, it's pretty cool area. Um, and the doctors wouldn't let him out of his place. So instead of coming to, because I think originally I was going to try to get Jose to come down to the building I was staying at, because we have the run of the building, right? We just had I had a full conference room. We could just open up and game there, um, and then we would have access to all the like local food and all that stuff there. Um, but yeah, he couldn't leave because of the asthma. So I went down there, and they treated me to some Cuban food, which is pretty good, and Shakey's Pizza, which is interesting. Like Shakey's Pizza is not a big deal in the States. Like, yeah, you say Shakey's Pizza, it's like, oh, okay, kind of lower end pizza, whatever, low medium end pizza. Um, but Shakey's Pizza in the Philippines is a different affair because it's like I think they, in my opinion, I think they deep fry the dough for the pizza to make it like so, it's so like crispy. It's like in buttery. It's really good. So we did that, and Jose's mom um, showed me all the various issues she was having with the place. You know, busted toilet um, and the criminal offense of um, using like a matte varnish on some hand carved furniture. Like they like if you've seen like nice traditional Filipino furniture, it's beautiful stuff. It's usually hand carved teak or some other sort of exotic hardwood. And absolutely gorgeous. And they use it and they'll hand carve it and make tables or armoires or other furniture out of it. You can even see it in like some of the old like style homes. Absolutely beautiful. And I guess Jose's dad or whatever hired somebody uh, to varnish these some of the furniture, and they used a matte varnish, like this opaque matte varnish, and it was just absolutely awful. Like obscured all the beauty and the warmth of the wood. It was just horrible. Oh, hey, what's up, Kevin? Thanks for tuning in, man. Let's see. It's why I always feel terrible when I try Shakey's in the U.S. and remember how it tastes in the Philippines. Yeah, 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 yeah. So we had that, and then we had we're calling it the Philippine World Championship of Guild Ball because we're the only two people we know that play Guild Ball, and we're in the Philippines at the same time. So we set up that game. That was a really fun game because we were playing the kickoff set. Jose was playing Masons, I was playing Brewers, and I was using some of Andrew's like power gaming tactics on Jose, and just it was brutal. Like uh, I managed to get a 6 point. I like funneled not Harmony Friday down this lane to get a 6 point activation, which included her. Well, first off, Jose had this really cool play where he managed to punch a hole or find a gap in my defense. Get Honor down there close enough, and then pass over to Harmony for a turn one goal. Very impressive start. And but the trade-off to that is now you have Harmony like into the teeth of my defense. And so what I was able to do on that turn one was um, get Friday up there and enough bonuses on her to where she was able to finish off Harmony, get the ball, and stroll downfield and kick a goal. So it was like a hammer type activation. Yeah, it was like six VP activation on a Friday. That was pretty damn hot in the first turn. Then the second turn, I forget exactly what happened. I know Jose, he punched in another goal. I want to say this time it was with honor. He managed to punch in another goal on the second turn. And I did not get a goal in the second turn, but I managed to take honor out again with the crazy Brewer hit squad. Yeah, Andrew's pretty nuts with his Brewers team. Um, so so it was 8-6 going into the third turn, and the game was pretty damn tight. So I think it was during the third turn or so. Actually, I think I got two takeouts that turn. I don't remember. No, I got it during early in the third turn. Um, I got another takeout on I forget who it was, but like a third takeout, um, and then um, and managed to thwart one of Jose's goals and then score a goal later in the third turn to win that game. Super fun game. And I was just happy that I was able to get an actual game in the Philippines. So I did that, and then that night again, another. Uh, oh hey, Kevin and Mark, while you're here, Yuya was asking me about who has his Arena Rex, and I was like, I think it's one of you two guys. So let me know if one of you guys has it. And so Yuya might reach out to you and figure out how to get it. What up, Mark? Should be Mark. All right. I hope I'm not putting you guys on the spot, but I think one of you guys has it. Yeah, and then that's when that night I went and had another exclusive dinner. But this time it wasn't Filipino food. It was good. It was like, country club fare, but they had a dress code and I showed up in shorts. So they had to give me like whatever, like the loner slacks for the guys that show up to the country club without pants. Um, but we had a good dinner. Now this was with a family that when they saw me at the wedding, like the mom nearly collapsed on me. Like it was just the craziest shit for her, because this was a family that my parents had they sponsored. Okay, meaning they helped sponsor to get into the United States, and they came and lived with they lived with, and then they were neighbors of my family. Oh gosh. Yuya has you blocked? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, Arena X, Mark. That's what we're talking about. Um, yeah, so this like old lady, well, first off, I run into the one of the younger guy, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it's been 40 years since I've seen you." The last he saw me in 1976, and back then I was 2 years old and in Kansas, and he held me. He was like 12 or 13 or something like that. Actually, I think he was a little older than that. And that was like the last day that they were in the United States. They went back to the Philippines. But all during that time, they used to run around with my older siblings and with my parents, and that whole family just has such fond memories of their time there in Kansas. Um, and for the mom to see, that I'm like a fully like grown ass man now, 40 years later, and she's still like squeezing my face and kissing me like like I'm still that little baby, because that's all they remember of me. Um, it was really it was really interesting. It was mildly unsettling, but also really kind of cool, right? So they were so excited to see me and my dad, and they wanted to know if they could spend time with us, and they're going to send us drivers and all this other stuff, right? Oh, you guys are talking about Kingdom Con. Oh, okay. Okay. So, so the last night I was there, we agreed to have dinner with that group, and I got to hear a bunch of cool stories about my parents and about my older siblings and how they used to act, in Kansas before I could recall anything. So that was that was really interesting. And then finally, the last part of Sunday night, after we were done having dinner with them, my cousin who I met for the first time at the wedding, I told him, "Hey man, let's go out, let's get a beer," because he was like, "Hey, I wanna bond with you, right? We're cousins, we should get to know each other." So uh, so after that, he took me out for a beer um, in downtown Manila. We went to like one of the tourist traps, but it was fine. It was fun. I mean, that was what was open on a Sunday night. We were trying to go to their favorite bar. Now he's a dentist in the Philippines, which is cool. Uh, that's a good living in the Philippines. It's not like here. Dentists make crazy hand over fist money, And I was like, hey man, come back, come do your like rotation schooling here in the States. You could practice here and make that mad cash, right? Because him and his girlfriend are dentists. So that was all pretty cool. And we got to have Red Horse beer. Because I told him the story of he's actually Mike's younger brother, and I was there with Mike 15 years ago. We were running around, and Daryl's is much younger brother, um, and so we ran around there, had that Red Horse beer because it's awesome. So it was, all in all, really good times. You guys are talking about the Arena Rex, yeah. I'll get a shipping address from you, yeah. Be good to put that one to bed, right? Once and for all. Not even. I think he's gonna use those minis for chainmail, but I'm not sure. Probably play it. If we're playing Arena Rex, he'll probably play some Arena Rex with us. I do kind of miss Arena Rex a little bit. Stop this cat and mouse game. This guy's kind of cool. He has like a little bit of that shadow on his face, like that razor stubble. You should play a game. Yeah, I've got Arena Rex. Okay. So yeah, all in all, good trip. Traveling with Filipinos is always crazy, and Philippine Airlines, they just kind of make shit up. They have the worst. I didn't think the boarding procedure could get any worse than it was at LAX. Because LAX, we had to. Hey, what's up, Blade Wolf? Welcome to the feed. Um, yeah, in LAX, you had to like uh, get on these buses. They like arranged everyone by group. Then you had to get on a bus take the bus across the runway and then get off and board. We left LA like 2 hours late on the departing flight. I'm sorry, the arriving flight. And then on the departing flight, they had the terminal in the Manila airport has only one common walkway. So they kept having to delay the boarding because every time another plane would land in the international terminal, they'd have to let all those passengers off, and they have to use the same tunnel. So you're like, oh shit. So we just kept having to stop and wait and stop and wait and stop and wait, and it's just driving me crazy. Like, I can't believe that this is even more inefficient than the LAX boarding. It's crazy. That, and there are birds in the terminal. They're just live sparrows just flying around inside that international terminal. Like families of sparrows in there. It's crazy. It's like, man, this is wild. And you know, they had groups and stuff for boarding, but we got so pushy right around the time we were boarding that they nearly abandoned that whole system of boarding by groups. So you grow tentacle. Let me get a little bit of let's get a little white detail on these blades. These are coming along just fine. I mean, I'm not going for like high art here. All right. It's just a plane full of sparrows. Yeah, they fly the planes. Yeah. That's the Filipinos for you, though. They don't sweat. I guess one way of putting it is they don't sweat the small shit, right? Yeah. There's sparrows in our terminal, whatever. We don't care. We'll get you home. Yeah. We're not all that worried about what boarding group you're in. Just get on the plane. Make sure your shit gets on. We're good. They did additional screening because it was, because we are headed for the United States. So they set up an additional screening line in the middle of the international terminal. And that caused all other kinds of inefficiencies with other flights that were trying to leave and go to, like New Zealand or Japan or, all the other international flights that they had set up. Don't sweat the sparrow. Yeah, that kind of stuff gives me like an aneurysm, but you just got to learn how to just roll with that shit in the Philippines. Like it's like a cultural attitude. Like, yeah, we're going to do stuff. We're going to try to get it done fast and cheap for you. But we're also going to skimp out on some other shit. So don't overthink it. Yeah. Oh, the other thing, Jose, is I guess if you stay in the Philippines under a certain amount of time, since I was only there 5 days, that you don't have to pay the terminal tax. They just looked at me and like, you're good. There's no fee. The other thing I found out is if you do online check-in with PAL, it only saves you a little bit of time. It saves you a good amount of time if you don't check bags. Like if you do online check-in and you're not checking a bag, the advantages that it affords you is you don't have to get in the standard check-in line, which is really long. You check in on an online line. Printing your boarding pass from online check-in is completely useless. Like you're just do it, but don't bother to print your thing out because you still have to go up to the counter or a counter either way. You suffered the food poison. Oh yeah. That lounge is terrifying. Speaking of which, I do have some hopia here that I bought at the Goldilocks before I left because I was like, I'm hungry right now. My body's still on Filipino time, so it's what? It's like afternoon over there, I think. So like, how the hell are you still alive, Jose? Good question, man. Dude, Jose in your yes, afternoon. I'm like hungry. This is like lunchtime usually for me. Uh, Everyone in your family is so loud, Jose. There's just a lot of damn decibels, man, up in that house. It's like, oh my god. Like your mom starts talking about shit, and it's like loud, and then like you're responding to her, and it's also loud. Oh no, dude, I ate an entire thing of the hopia. I still have another package of it here. You know what? I'm gonna eat one. I'm gonna show you guys what this is on camera, just so you guys know what the hell this is. Yeah, yeah. I know it's late at night, but I don't care. We're just effing around. I'm gonna eat one, right? All right. Because I bought 2 packs while I was there in the Philippines. All right. So here, check it out. So you get these at Goldilocks, and they have them all, you know, wrapped up. Okay. And these are like teeny tiny little pies, right? Think like bean pie. Okay. So it's a little pie like this, and I'm gonna have one. It's a little pie like this, and you know they glaze the top of it, and then you have see this purple, see the purple filling there? That's ube. Ube is like a yam, right? And the Filipinos use it in all their dessert shit. Like you can get ube flavored ice cream, which is amazing. You can get yeah, ube kind of like red bean. You can also get like mung hopia. You can also get meat in hopia, like you can get pork hopia. I wasn't about to get any of the meat because at the airport, because who knows how long they package this shit. But ube, you're sort of safe with ube. At least I am. I haven't died from it. Maybe if I gave Jose a bite of this, maybe it would kill him. I don't know. But I'm gonna have this because this is delicious. I don't care. I had this instead of the some of the food on the airplane, which was horrifying. And it gets me through. Like ube, I'm sorry, hopia is like it can be like farm food. You know what I mean? Like you can make a bunch of these and like eat this as your meal. And that's kind of what I was doing because I was in the airport for a while. I think it's delicious. I don't care. I think most people would not like it or say it doesn't taste like anything. I took the microphone off so you don't have to hear me chewing. It's good. I don't know. Is that? Tell me, do you guys think that's weird? Blade Wolf, I'm sure you've had this before, right? Yeah, ASMR on you. Alright, that was the last bite. Almost done. Oh, the cassava cakes are nice. I do like cassava also. All right, back at it. Yeah, cassava is quite nice. All right, so now let's go ahead and do a flesh wash on these guys. If I can find my flesh wash. Where is my flesh wash? Ah. Yeah, the stuff that they serve on the airplane, it's not terrible, but oh man, they had this like hot dog thing on the way back. It was like a steamed hot dog in like an onion style bun, and that did not do me any favors. Like my stomach is still reeling a little bit from that shit. The phrase hot dog thing just gave me that. Yeah, Filipinos have a lot of hot dog things as fare. Put a little ink wash down here. I realize this guy kind of has like these like orky teeth that I gotta deal with. It's cool. I can't relate. I'm white and haven't eaten any of this stuff you're talking about. Yeah, they were even telling me like I said, my I guess she's my stepmother for lack of a better term. Although at my age you don't really use that terminology. It's just sort of my dad's wife. Um, she was trying to set up a thing where like I try a bunch of the fruits that you can't get in the States, like star apple and some of the other like other types of cassava and that kind of stuff. I thought that was cool. We couldn't coordinate it. Wasn't enough time. My dad went to Punta Fuego today, and then he's gonna go to I forget the name of the city he was going to. It's this really like little podunk town that has like one stoplight on it and this really long boardwalk along a beach. I'd be surprised if he decides he wants to buy something out there. Like he'd probably buy a plot of land or something out there and build something. Uh, I've eaten too much of this stuff. My next door neighbors every once in a while will come by with it. It's good stuff, but man, a week in the Philippines that's plenty. Like I'm Filipinoed out, man. I've done my share. I want to go back, come home and enjoy some of this Western cuisine again. Damn, that just made me more hungry. That was a mistake. I need to sleep soon so that I don't get try to adjust my body clock to all this. So we'll get this glaze down. Get this man a hamburger. Oh, I'd love a hamburger, but I can't eat beef. I have my stomach has a sensitivity to beef that I developed last year. Such a bummer too, because I absolutely adore beef. Like I had some Korean Wagyu beef last year. I made some for my friend when she came and visited us, and it was delicious. But it got me sick for like 3 days. And once I started to feel better, I tried beef again. Got me sick again. And I took another week off. Came back, tried it again. Got me sick again. So it's like I can have beef, but like once in a while or small amounts. But yeah, turkey burgers. I love turkey burgers now. It hurts my heart a little bit because I love beef. Would love to have a Kobe burger or filet or something. something wonderful like that. But alas, yeah, we'll get the major washes down on these. Oh, no brats. I could have like one brat. It'd probably get me a little bit gassy, but I'd probably survive it. I don't know. I think that that particular treatment of beef probably be a little kinder to my GI tract than some of uh, the other treatments there. How about liverwurst? I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it. I know ground beef and steak in particular can be bad. I had a little bit of ground beef at Jose's place with the Cuban, and that was enough. Like that was like, oh, calm down. I don't know. I think it's like after a while, you get older, your body starts to process things a little differently. Oops. This Ninja All-Star stuff is really cool looking. It would be nice if there were simpler game modes or more accessible game modes so you could play this, so we could play this more often. And that's kind of what I want to do at Kingdom Con, is basically, you pick a Ronin and fight it out in an arena, and there's some scoring objectives in there. So if you pick a support Ronin, you can score in other ways. Just an excuse to throw a bunch of the cool Ronin minis down and let them duke it out. I just looked out my window and there's a complete white smoggy haze blocking my view of Makati. Jeebus. Yeah, no beef tacos. I can have pork. I always have, I can have like carnitas tacos. I can have chicken tacos, al pastor, but I can't do, yeah, I cannot do just straight up beef tacos. This guy's kind of rad. I like him. Yeah, I'm just glad to be home. I really am. Like I said, I'm a little Filipinoed out. It's good to come back home and just get ready for. I got a long work day ahead of me tomorrow. Um, I'm extremely questionable for Thursday. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I'm not sure. I'll let you know, Mark. Yeah, good to be back. Very, very good to be home. Philippines is cool. I do want to go back, but it'll be a little while before I'm back, and hopefully it'll be a little while. Hopefully Jose doesn't die over there. And then I have to go over there for a funeral or something. Don't die, Jose. Oh yeah, people are sick in your house. That's rough, man. Hope everyone starts to feel it's been a rough flu season for sure. Give a little definition, a little more shade to the mask here. There we go. There's a little definition there. So the old man staying in the PI? Yeah, he'll be there until the end of February. They're gonna do some more island hopping. They're doing more of their honeymoon, and then on the 27th they have um, their big reception where most of her family will be there. That's gonna be like 300 people for that affair. So that'll be a big guy. All right, let's do the final wash on these. They're starting to feel better, but yeah, I'm still hesitant, which sucks because it's the ton I order will be here tomorrow. Ooh, I like you, Zatanna. Yeah, let's get these. These guys will basically be done, which will be awesome. So I can take them off the table here. Their skin's a little red. I'm gonna have to highlight their skin a little bit. Oh, no, he's not there permanently. You know, at one point in his life, he was strongly considering just retiring over there, and he wanted to bring my mom with him, but unfortunately she passed away before that could happen, and my mom was very against leaving our family here to retire there in the Philippines. She has a solid point too, you know, with the healthcare over there being not so great, especially if you're in the province, you know, which is what my dad's plan was, just to, you know, basically grass skirt it for the rest of their days. So yeah, my mom was against that. All right, let's get a brush here with a little bit bigger belly to it. That is the number one brush. Huh. All right, well, let's get a number 2. And this ought to fluff up the rest of these. Whoop. And I'm just gonna use this to kind of bring definition to the rest of the model. It's a little too dark. I'm gonna brush most of this off the lighter tan color. That's what I love about the glaze medium. I think I'm supposed to pick up a Infinity commission later this month too. Should be cool. So right now, this is just kind of like the warm-up, bring me back to my painting routines. Hot girl. Hot girl. Alright. I need to actually paint this dude's eyebrows as well. Jube. Jube. Dude has a big ol' eyebrow. Oh. And the rest of this is just whoop. Get it on the rest of the flooring. Right now, I don't miss anything about the Philippines right now. I'm so happy to be home. But give it a little while. I'll start to miss stuff over there. Did I never? Oh, I did wash her skin. Okay. Okay. Get this guy here, Binkai. I don't know how you say his name. He's pretty cool. Wah. For sure, I need to go. Binky is the science guy, or Benkai. Oh, Benkai, the science guy. That's funny. Benkai, the science guy. Okay. I want to travel this year, but haven't seen the family that lives abroad. Gramps says they're out there, but I don't know. That's cool. I like the idea of traveling abroad. Like, I really do. I like it in theory, but it is rough, man. There's a lot of stuff about traveling abroad that I don't particularly care for. He's starting to come together. He's cool looking. All right. When I first learned that Bill Nye was an engineer, not a scientist. Whoa! He fall! He fall! Ah, okay. That was also really cool that, oh, never mind. Yep, I just nearly fell out of consciousness right there. So tired. Well, that and the American stigma. Can't travel to some places like Europe and be like, oh, great, the Americans are here. I mean, I dealt with that in Manila as well. They're mostly an annoyance that, you know, I speak English to them. That's annoying. So I look like they do, but then I speak English to them and they have to answer me in English. That gets frustrating for the people, for like the Grab drivers that were taking me around town. How's your friend? I bet that made his week playing Guild Ball with him. No, he's right here. He's in the comments. That be Hoser. He's right here. You can ask him. All right. So yeah, this is all pretty standard work here. All good. Let's The game left him so rocked he's in the hospital. That was a really good game, actually. It came down to who won initiative in the third turn, and then Jose had a chance to win the game with a game-winning goal, but I had too many brewers in that area. Like there was too much stuff for him to work around to be able to pull it off. Foreigners do it here. French lady was asking me directions in French a few months ago. That's rough. Now, with regards to Filipinos speaking Tagalog to me, I don't speak at all. So I have to pick up a lot of that from context and the amount of broken English that they throw into sentences. And that's usually enough. It's usually enough for me to go, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. But I can't answer specific questions because I don't, not unless they figure out how to ask me in English. Very good game. It's been a long time since I played Masons. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to at the end there, I was like, you do have a shot of winning this game, but it's super hard. And we went through that sequence of like, okay, what would it require? And it didn't pan out. But that was a very good game. Like I felt like it's pretty well played and good intense game of Guild Ball. Yeah, well, it's not fun trying to translate when they're speaking medical jargon to you in Tagalog. Yeah. Well, at least you can understand. You understand a lot more than I do. I would think their technical jargon would be more English-based than Tagalog. But what do I know? I wasn't the one sat up in that ER for 2 days. Whoa. Messed up the base a little bit. Okay, because I'm that tired. I didn't even finish painting this base. That's how tired I was. Wow, I didn't finish washing it. Let's do that. Alright, here we go. And then I'm going to just call it after this, guys. Alright. So there we go. I'll show them off real quick. Not entirely done, but they're playable at this point. And we're just, again, this is just kind of like the warm-up stuff. Alright. So here we go. Let me show it to you guys. And yeah, my schedule this week is going to be a bit erratic, but I'll get on when I can. I do appreciate you guys hopping on. So here we go. Onibaba. Nothing really to see there. Probably should have done her dress a different color. Jubei. Love Jubei. Super fun. I love the stubble. It's really cool. Benkai needs his teeth done. Other than that, he's pretty much done. And then I forget this guy's name, but he's cool. Alright, so with that, we're going to call it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. thanks for welcoming me back. We'll be on again later this week. So that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.